Okay. So, initially, I want to do some more Hag today. Because I am loving that game. I'm getting near the end. But, my wife's car is still in the auto shop. And I'm probably going to need help pick it up in like an hour or two, I realized. So I don't want to start Hag because I don't want to pause that partway through a chapter, right? But Fire Emblem 4, the chapters are all very long. We already paused through one, right? So I figured, let's, you know, let's do some Fire Emblem 4. Some more of the FE4 remake. Also, because I've been having problems with the chat, let me just make sure this goes through. It did not. Oh my goodness, okay. It did not. Hold on. Streamlabs. What a silly little program. Okay. Adjust these settings. Test. There we go. Okay. Yay, Fire Emblem 4. Yeah, I figured, you know, someone would like it. I will be honest, I'd rather be playing Hag. I'd rather be hagging. But FE4 is fun, you know? And we only got briefly into Chapter 1. So, the goal today is to finish Chapter 1. While also eating, ravioli. Yum, yum, yum. God, Azel is so sad. My favorite part is when they said it's FE4 time and FE4'd all over the place. So true, so true. So, I'm thinking about, like, our long-term goals, right? Especially since I have the pairings now. Because y'all voted on pairings. I want to get some kills on this Javelin. Because I think a crit Javelin is really good. And then I want to get I want to get So I get kills on the Javelin. What other weapons do I currently have that could use kills? Not really any. Because we get the Brave Sword next map. We get the Light Brand next map. And we get Elwind next map. Critical Elwind is really good. If you can get... Oh, right, yeah. Duke Knight is now named Banneret. Which I think is a badass class name. You're 8. Okay, let's try to get this kill with this Javelin. The funny thing about FE4 is you don't feed kills to your units, you feed kills to weapons. That's so sad. Okay. The Brave Sword is Chapter 3. Oh, right, you get it in Chapter 3. What do we get next map that I'm thinking of? Is it just the Light Brand? I think the big one is just the Light Brand. Brave Lance? Is the Brave Lance chapter 2? I think it is, you're right. Brave Lance, we're doing Claude. We're doing Claude Aaron. So Brave Lance on well, critical Brave Lance on Fee is still good. Sorry, just shoveling food into my gullet. We'll just have y'all move. Brave Lance is in this chapter? No, Brave Lance is not this chapter. This chapter is the one where Finn gets a stat boost, I believe. From Quan. I think the Brave Lance is chapter 2. Did Lex get the hand axe? He did. He did. The epic feller. And we got y'all hanging out here. I know some people said, like, oh, Dew is gonna die. Dew has incredibly high dodge. And these enemies two-shot him. The only way that he really is in any danger in this situation is, I believe, the boss one-shots him. Hey, Finn, do you want to get stats? Quan, 1998. Dodge tanking reliable? Yes, actually. Although that one guy going around the back is, could be a problem. Because if we go on the sand, well, this is sand, so we can use this as a choke point. Yeah, we can use this as a choke point as well, if we need to. Alright, let's heal up Quan. Now I'm in a bit of a rush. Chapter 2 is actually fun, though. I disagree. I think Chapter 2 is the worst chapter in the game. It is multiple elements of just frustrating design, all sort of stacked with each other, right? So, I don't like it. I do not like it. I guess we can put Lex here with the hand axe. I don't actually know if these guys get lured or not. I do need to be careful because Ira it can be a little bit annoying to recruit. The strategy is like, the go-to strategy people really like is using Alec, because he has Nihil, to prevent Astra. But then that has the other problem of, like, you still gotta loop-de-lure, right? So it can be... When I did infantry only, she was so obnoxious, because you need to recruit her for infantry only, but you cannot outpace her and loop-de-lure. So I had to send unarmed cavaliers to, like, lure her into... Basically, we lured her all the way up to the top and over the bridge. It was very silly. Chapter 1 and Chapter 8 are the only bad chapters. Interesting. I think most chapters in this game are actually pretty poorly designed. Chapter 7 is my favorite by a significant margin. I think Chapter 7's probably my favorite too, but I used to like it a lot more than I do now. So it's finally time. Woe to all who cross me. Okay, so Do is gonna have to move to this choke point. Because of the guy who's loop-de-looing around the back. The problem with Ira is she covers a huge swath of areas. I think we send Arden over here. Azel, like, you fucking hide. Midir, if you Iron Bow here. Oh, wait, he has a hand axe. Fuck, I'm stupid. Oh, no, Midir is just epic like that, I guess. Midir is just epic like that, I guess. Fuck, I suicided Midir because I forgot he had a hand axe. And Midir just said no. That's funny because last stream also ended with Midir defying death in a very, PogChamp epic way. Okay, let's heal up Sigurd. I think we heal Sigurd. Never punished. Midir is the best. I think Midir is mid. And by mid, I actually mean, like, middling. Not too good, not too bad. Just mid. And we'll go here. And then Sigurd. How does Sigurd do against Ira with the silver sword? I don't want either of them to die. So 29. So he does 22 to her. The thing is, if she gets Astra, we just get the bad RNG, right? Mid is mid. Simple as that. It's really quite shrimple, Your Honor. Alec has 11 speed, 17 speed. So the Alec strategy is because Nihil, he can't get doubled. 23 minus 9, or he can get doubled, he can't get Astrad. 23 minus 9 is 14 times 2. So Alec would need... I think if Alec goes in the trees, Ira can go for him and he lives? Question mark? Because he gets plus 20% defense. I didn't give him a lance, which would have let me, like, get weapon triangle. Go over here. Trying to, like, just have Ira not follow Sigurd, basically. Nisha over here. Let's see what happens. Normally, I lure Ira north and siege with Sigurd coming in from the west. Oh, you, like, go all the way around the forest? Yeah, that's also a strategy. And so the problem here is, because we have to stand on the sand, because of that one guy who went around. Now they have 26 hit on us, which is, more than I would like. Also, that village is gonna die, and we just have to be okay with it. The village is dead. Like the stream if you're sad that the village is dead. Also, fuck, Ira. You'll stand between me and Sinan's future. Farewell. Okay, all things considered, not terrible. I think we save here, because I think what we do now... We heal Madeir. I'm going to dislike the stream because I'm happy the village is dead. Oh no! Either like or dislike the stream. The secret is it gives you the same level of engagement, but one of them makes me feel sad. Madeir, if Madeir goes here, Madeir is like the perfect target, right? Ira can reach right next to the trees. So if Madeir goes here, he's like the perfect target. And you go here. Kill this person. You go over here. Who do I want to give the money to? It's all about the money. Honestly, I think what we do is we save that village for Edane. So yeah, this is a road tile. This is sand, and this is also a choke point. So I think we go there. We have Edane heal up Do. Madeir is gonna die. Oh, I didn't do the math. Does Madeir get fucking nuked by Ira? Alec with Iron Sword is safe against Ira? No, actually, because he's not at full HP. If I heal him to full, he is. But right now he's at 27, and he takes a total of 28 when he's not on terrain. And I don't think Edane reached. Or I don't think Ethlyn reached. I think we saved that village for... Oh, actually, no, Ethlyn probably could appreciate that village. But she's healing every single turn, so... Alright, I think we end. Let's see what happens. Madeir is dead. We healed Madeir. But I don't know what his defense stat is. They're doing the scramble. They're really trying to figure out a way around this choke point. Madeir is a man? Yes. Potentially a dead man. Yes, a dead man. The potential. The problem now becomes... Ira's at such low HP. We can't face her with someone who can counterattack. Because she will die. Midir exists. This message brought to you by the Jamka Lovers Gang. So long, Midir. See ya in chapter 3 or 4. Well, so I would... the thing is that y'all voted for Midir Edain. So I have an obligation to keep Midir alive, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, Midir is like fine. Best user is a killer bow, so like there's no reason not to use him, right? So what if instead we do this? Let's put him right outside of Ira's range. I usually don't care if Ira kills someone because of Claude and Valkyrie. I mean, you could just sacrifice someone, that is true. I thought about sacrificing Azel because he's like the worst fucking unit in the cast. But also, I think like, if you're gonna do that, right, just sacrifice someone you don't care about so you don't have to waste the Valkyrie staff. If you're going to kill someone off for Ira's sake, like kill off Azel, and then you're fine. Then you're golden. Let's start moving y'all down towards the next castle. Finn, this will likely be a very long battle. My apologies for bringing you into it. I am but your humble servant, my lord. I would go anywhere, should my master will it. Thank you, Finn. Even so, I'm but a page. It honors me to have your confidence, but I doubt I'll be much use of you. Is that so? In that case, what time better is there than for a spot of what time better than now is there for a spot of hands-on training? Draw, Finn. Yes, sir. And that way we get a little stat boost to him, which is pretty cool. Don't kill off my boy. Oh no, the Azel fans in chat. The Azel fans in chat. It throttles their growth if they're dead for 2 chapters. Well, that's why you kill off Azel. Because he's not growing anyway. There are Azel fans. A staggeringly large number of them, somehow. Okay, so now Sigurd can besiege this castle. And y'all just head over this way. We'll have everyone go around this way, around the forest. Midir, how much do you have? 7,000. Should be enough for the killer bow. That's all we care about. I haven't played this game, but I do like mages. Hearing Azel is supposed to be bad makes me sad. I think Azel is, the second to worst unit in Gen 1. The only one worse than him is Tailtew, and he joins in Prologue, so like that's impressively bad. This village is part of the holdings of Prince Simbaith, Lord of Genoa. He's as dreadful as they come. Barely a month goes by without him setting his army loose on us. It's terrifying. King Batu, his father, used to do such a fine job of keeping him in check. I can hardly imagine what's going on. Anyway, glad you stopped by. Azel isn't good, but he's not as bad as people say. That's the cope, though. That's the cope. I'm sorry, but Azel is awful. I think Arden is better than Azel. Actually, is that true? It might not be true. Let me... He does get that horse. He's so fucking bad, though. I think when I made my FE4 tier list, I think I put him in D tier, actually. Not the Armor Knight. I know I put Arden in D tier. Arden didn't get stuck in F. I believe there's only 2 Gen 1 units that made it to F tier. I know one of them is Tailtew. I think the other one was either Jamka? Probably Jamka. Oh, that's gonna piss some people off, though, that I said Jamka. He's good if you train him, but like every word in that sentence is filled with 10 asterisks, including he and him. The only other mage in Gen 1 other than Tailtew is Lewin, and Lewin does not need anything but wind. But what are we giving Azel? Azel can hoard all of the tomes. But the tomes that Azel can use are all bad! Like, what tomes? What tomes? He gets Thunder next chapter when the enemy's speed goes up so he can't double them with Thunder. He doesn't get Wind until chapter 4. Because he can't use Elwind unpromoted, right? He cannot use Elwind unpromoted. So, if you have an unpromoted Azel in chapter 4, it's over. So he can't use wind tomes until he promotes. The interesting thing about Magic Weight in FE4 is it feels especially designed to give Azel lighter and lighter tomes throughout the chapters. He gets lighter tomes as the enemies get fast enough that he can't double them, is the thing. Because he already, I actually ran the math because I was talking about this with Jacob the other day. Jacob ran the math. Because we were talking about this the other day. Azel needs 3 speed level ups to double the hunters in prologue. Because Azel has -3 speed at base because of the fire tome. Azel has -3 speed at base. So he needs 3 speed level ups to double the hunters in prologue. On this map, how does he do against these axe fighters? 8 speed with with an 18 weight weapon. So they have -10. He will double them, but they have too much HP for him to one-round them because they have 40 now. He deals 18 without magic. So he needs 2 magic levels to one-round these people. And that's before accounting for the fact he has armored movement. Also, he doesn't double the hunters in this map. Unfortunately, I killed... Oh, wait, no, there's hunters over here. So these guys have 8 speed, 8 weight. They have 0 AS. So yeah, he needs 3 speed level ups to double these guys as well. And 2 magic level ups in order to one-round them. Azel is also hated for how late the wind tome is. Yeah, he wants a wind tome because he only has C rank wind, so he can't use Elwind, which... Next chapter, you get Lewin, but he has Elwind, right? So Azel can't use any good tomes until he promotes, or we get to chapter 4. Once he promotes, you've already gone through the terrible, terrible grind, right? So that's kind of like what you don't really need to, I mean, it's nice to give him better tomes once he promotes, but you've already gone through the terrible, like, 20 levels of grind to get him there. So you either go through the terrible 20 levels of grind when he has bad weapons and doesn't double anything, and you're dealing with the problem all the other infantry members have of, like, low move moment, or you train him in chapter 4 out of 5. For anyone who hasn't played Fire Emblem 4, there are 5 chapters. Well, 6 if you count prologue. but you cannot purchase a wind tome for him until chapter 4 out of 5. At which point, the game is practically over, and the payoff for training Azel is you get a horse, which is theoretically good. It is in practice good. But chapter 5 is a desert map. So, like, you get the horse for the desert map. It's just so sad. The other thing is, if you're doing a ranked run, Azel is by far the most obnoxious unit to train. Because finding opportunities where not only he can reach combat because his movement is so bad, but he has good combat is really, really difficult. There's a reason people stick him in the forest up here to have him fight. There'll be a cutscene later where green units and red units are fighting each other. If you put him in the forest here, he can fight like one of those red units without risk of death. And people do that in ranked runs because that's more experience than he'll get by playing the entire fucking map. And it's one enemy! It's so bad. It's so bad. Pour one out for Azel, because he's awful. Sire, we found this young boy in the dungeon. What's the matter? Why are you silent? I want to know why you're held here. You're not one of Simbei's lot, aren't you? We've dealt with Simbaith. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Oh, so Ira doesn't have to keep fighting. I think Ira was forced to fight me because Simbaith had me. Please, you gotta help her. That swordswoman. Huh, I thought there was something amiss about her. Very well. I'll let her know you're safe. Now what's your name? Shannon. I'm Shannon, the Prince of Isaac. Isaac's prince, you say? I can barely begin to imagine what you've been through, Shannon. For now, though, you're welcome to stay with our army. Don't worry, one day we'll make it home. One day you'll make it home. I'll do all I can to ensure that. Pardon me, sire, but we're currently at war with Isaac. If we're going to harbor its prince, shouldn't we inform the king? He's a child, Loifi. The war has nothing to do with him. I'll find a way to get him home safely. But for now, we need to look after him. Understood, sire. Just as I thought, Lord Sigurd is such a kind man. Bum ba 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 bum ba 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 ba. Arden is useless. In my second playthrough, he's the only Gen 1 unit who I failed to promote. Arden has better combat than Azel. Arden has better combat than Azel. I'll say it. Because Arden actually has a defense stat. And if you... Okay, here's the really fucking funny part, right? If you give Arden the pursuit ring, he doubles more enemies than Azel. Arden has 4 speed. Iron Sword has 3 weight. Slim Sword has 1 weight. So with the Slim Sword, Arden has 3 speed. With the Iron Sword, Arden has 1 speed. Azel at base has 0 speed. Sorry, Azel at base has -3 speed. He's gained 1 point of speed for us. But at base, he has -3 speed. Arden has 6 more AS than Azel. The Armor Knight! The Armor Knight has 6 more AS than Azel. And that's before mentioning, hey, he actually has a strength stat, he actually has a defense stat. Like Azel's, his magic's actually pretty good. But his magic growth is not. But yeah, without the pursuit ring, I also think Arden has better combat than Azel, because you can just stick him in a group of enemies and he fights them. Training Arden is actually remarkably easy. I'll show off the opportunities to train him. Chapter 1 doesn't really have any, but 2 and 3 have groups of enemies Arden is really well matched into fighting. Whereas Azel is just, he's begging for table scraps. He's begging for table scraps. It's 40%. Yeah, his magic growth is 40%. He has a weighted coin flip against him to gain magic. It's very sad. It's better than Lewin. I believe Lewin has like 30 or something, but Lewin gets win, so he actually like can double stuff, right? And then of course you get Forsetti Spaghetti, and you can do Forsetti Spaghetti stuff. But yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. Chapter 2 Azel gains quite a bit from using the Thunder Tome. If he's remotely trained, he's doubling and his combat's pretty good. But that involves training him in Chapter 1, when he has the Fire Tome, fails to one-round anything on the map, and is moving at 5 move space on a very linear map. Chapter 2 is even more move-intensive, but at least you loop back, right? So there is a space for infantry to be useful fighting. But Azel is not gonna have, like, the training from Chapter 1 to have stats for Chapter 2. We fed Azel way more kills in Prologue than, like, is quote-unquote reasonable, and we fed him some kills here, and he's still only level 5, because he starts out at level 1! Do you know I has fallen to Granville? No, I must go to Shannon. The funny thing is that Ira will destroy the castle, if you let her. Recruit Holland with Azel. Oh god, that would be awful. Ugh. Does Granville really think they can just waltz into Versailles with such a tiny force? How adorable. Men, here's our chance. Evans is ripe for the plucking and then it's straight to the Granville border. Is that? No! That's the High Army! That's the Hushine Army! Eldigan won't like this! This is the jump scare where you think, oh shit, I was supposed to leave Arden at the castle. But you don't actually need a guard for your castle because next chapter, or not next chapter, next turn, a bunch of little fucknuts come out and they duel to the death. But this is where in ranked runs, as I was saying, in ranked runs, they feed one of these enemies to Azel because it's just so hard to find opportunities for experience. You put him like here. Here, if you're feeling bold, he can fight 2 enemies. But you put him like here or here, and he fights a couple of enemies, gets some chip, and that's it. Because he's not even well matched against those enemies. It's just, you need a little bit. The speed ring isn't free to go to Azel. The speed ring should not go to Azel. You don't give the speed ring to a unit who can't even fucking reach combat. Like, it's really hard to overstate just how much of a disadvantage the 5 move is. It's the same movement Arden has, right? Both of them are not reaching combat in most situations. And in Azel's case, when he does reach combat, he can't fight multiple enemies. He gets fucking destroyed. Three defense, 31 HP, right? That's after some training, because I think he joins at level 1. 23 attack. He gets 2-shot by these guys. He gets 2-shot by the Lance Cabs. '20 attack. He gets 2-shot by the Barbarians. And again, that's assuming we get him to combat. He is so far behind the rest of the army. And the disadvantage is just gonna keep snowballing. Like, right now, the only reason he's even close to these horse people is we had the horse people turn around because of Ira. They had to take a U-turn. His starting position in Prologue is good, and it gaslights you into thinking, oh, he can do good combat, which he can't, because he gets killed by everything, and he doesn't double anything, except for the axe fighters. But also, he can't reach combat. Hold, Lady Ira. Prince Shannon is safe with us. You needn't keep fighting. What? You saved Shannon? Do you speak the truth? I do. Prince Shannon told me everything. That you're the daughter of the late Azakian king. Listen, you detest Granvillians. You've made your hostility perfectly clear. But you can't neglect your duty to the prince. You can't afford to waste your life now. Not on a battle as senseless as this. My brother, the Clown Prince, entrusted Shannon to my care, knowing that his death was inevitable. You're right. After this time, I refuse to die for Verdain's sake. Until I've seen Shannon rise to the Azakian throne, my life is not mine to forfeit to such dogs. I will aid you all I can. If you lower your sword, on my honor as the heir of Baldur the Crusader, I swear I'll not betray you. Very well. I place my trust in you as well. Such is the way of the warriors of Isaac. Please, for now, I pledge my blade to your service. However, this does not change that Granville is my foe. Beware, for if one day that includes you, I will not hesitate. War can truly be cruel. Ira, Isaackian warrior, I pray that the day never comes. Unirview? So, much like Arden and Azel, Ira also struggles to reach the front lines. She at least has 6 move as like a non-armored infantry, right? But she's not going to be reaching the front lines particularly often. When she does, her combat is actually pretty good. She has swords, which is always a plus, and very high speed, decent strength, decent-ish defense. It's good right now, but her growth is not great, so it'll fall behind pretty quickly. The big sort of selling point is she has Pursuit, obviously. And she has Astra and Nihil. Nihil doesn't matter. There's like one enemy with a skill. Are there even any enemies with a skill in Gen 1? Because there's no killer. Oh no, there's some killer. There's the killer Wajamka, and then there's a killer. I think there's a Wyvern that has a skill or something in Chapter 3. But she doesn't even have any effective weapons, so you can't cope like Alec and be like, Horse Slayer! Horse Slayer! It's not that. Astra is just a % chance to attack 5 times. It's very impressive and sort of feels like the critical hit or whatever type deal. But in practice, it often feels kind of overkill. And she's not especially bulky either. Her starting situation's a little bit awkward because depending on where she is as a red unit, she's probably pretty far away from the front lines. Like, these are the guys we're gonna fight next, right? Unlike Azel and even Arden, she doesn't start near enemies, so she can't really impress you, but she does have an easy time going through the arena. Even when outmatched in the arena, she can just sort of roll for Astra and get experience and money that way. And she's the unit that gives you the Brave Sword, so she gets it for free, and she can sell it to someone else if need be. So that's kind of cool, but there's just not that many opportunities for a sword infantry to contribute, even though swords are the best weapon type in the game. It's just, unfortunate for her. A lot of people say that her combat is, like, really, really good, and I think that is an exaggeration. Just because if you could rely on Astra proccing, it would be. But you can't rely on Astra proccing. Pirates next chapter are good for her. I think you're thinking of chapter 3. That's where the Bridge of Pirates is. And that is good for her, but that's also good for Arden. That's also good for any of the sword cabs, right? There's opportunities for infantry to contribute. But they are, you know, you're looking for them, right? They're fewer than you would like. FE4 Pog. FE4 is Pog. Pog Champ, even, perhaps. This is one of the Fire Emblem games I have less affection for than the rest of the series. Just because it has, like, you know, the Kaga Square problem. It can be pretty slow to play through. Chapter 3 Pirate Bridge is a Dew Gold Mine. Yeah, and that's why I'm not, like, super high on the units the sword units, you know, Ira, Holen, and Arden training there, because it is a nice place to train them if you're doing like a ranked run. But I think that the sort of best scenario for her, or for that bridge, is to have Do farm the money, right? Nisha Gaming. He did get that crit. Genealogy is so different, I feel like you love it or just think it's okay. Well, so the thing is, my feelings about Genealogy are not related to the things that make it different. I actually really like Pursuit, the pawn shop system, the generational stuff. All that's really cool. I just don't like the maps. And that's part of why, like, in FE4 Remake, if they take the Echoes approach and don't improve the maps and enemy formations, I think would be awful. For me, personally, you know, not for everyone, but for me personally, I think that'd be the worst case scenario. If they do remake FE4, which if you saw my recent video, you know my thoughts about that, I hope that they take a much more heavy-handed approach to fixing some of the issues in map and enemy design in particular. Like, Kaga blocks of very weak enemies are just not it for me. What's this? Patrahine's army is marching on Evans? Ugh, I should have known Elliot just couldn't keep his nose out of this. Take care of the castle, Lachesis. Sigurd is in dire need of my help. Of course, brother. Please do all you can to help Sigurd. Right. Cross Knights move out. Our foe is the Hadrahine army. I don't expect a challenge, but stay alert nonetheless. This cutscene is so cool. It immediately made me think, like, Ares is the coolest motherfucker on Earth. Elliot, ambushing them like a common thief, are you? A cowardly act, ill befitting the honor of a knight. Withdraw immediately, or I will take action. We both know you're no match for me. What's this? Eldigan, I should have known you would side with Granville. In doing this, you are crossing not just Granville, nor me, but your very liege. We bow to the Reverend King Imka, who desires only peace with Granville. Would you truly cross his majesty? You fool. Only you would seriously heed that senile old fool's word. The lords of Augustria are united against them. Both Granville and any peace with... united against both Granville and any peace with them. Wrong. For I will not stand with you. Augustria cannot afford the crippling tolls of war, and nor can Granville. Our past stands as a testament to this. Learn well, Elliot. We, the nobility, know not the suffering brought by war. Yo, you must learn the suffering of the common people moment. War cripples only the powerless. Our subjects will not abide your lust for glory at the expense of our people. Pretty little speech, but that won't save you now. I knew all along you and I were always fated to clash, Eldigan. Today we settle this once and for all. Men, the enemy is now House Nordion. I want Eldigan's head on a platter. Did they change the name of Chagall? I don't know, because remember, the king in this chapter is not Chagall. It's Chagall's father. Chagall kills his dad before next to map. Because all these chapters take place like months or years apart from each other. This is a cool game, and I like how it feels like a ward war, but it's horse emblem, or you just keep move and turn, move and turn, move and turn. Imka dies in the time skip. Yeah. Eldigan is cool. I hope nothing bad happens to this fella. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's recruitable, right? I know there's a talk conversation with Lachesis in Chapter 3. That recruits him, right? Smiley face. Bum, ba, da, 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 da. I think the main purpose of this is to make the Cross Knights seem super intimidating. And I do think fighting the Cross Knights is the hardest part of Gen 1. Is Eldigan the best Camus? I don't know if I would call him a Camus, TBH. Because, like, the idea with the Camus is that they won't change sides. But Eldigan kind of does in the end, and then he gets killed. It kind of doesn't. I guess if you would call him a Camus, he's probably the best Camus. Although, There's a Camus and Tearing saga who I think is better handled. In general, I think the Camus archetype is stupid, though. It's usually just very poor writing. I know I'm evil, but I need to keep being evil because loyalty and honor are important to me. Shut up, nerd. Birthright Xander. Elise's dying wish was for me to be friends with you, Corin. So I'm going to fucking kill you. Ryoma at least makes sense in Conquest, because, like, you are in the wrong there. Welcome, Mateo. Thank you for the YouTube membership. Welcome, welcome. Enjoy your stay, and enjoy the emojis. I don't know if you're here. The fact that it's emoji in early vids, I suspect you joined to view one of the videos currently available. Like, your choices really matter. I'm excited for that video. Comes out tomorrow. Or the Sakura video. That's later this month. Alright, let's get a kill on this javelin. Birthright Xander hurts my brain so much. It's literally like him and Elise. The only reason he, Elise, and Leo don't join you in Birthright is because that would undermine the premise of the game, right? I think that from a storytelling perspective, there's no reason. I think Camilla, even Camilla, because Camilla gets convinced by Elise, and Arthur and Effie. Like, so many of the Conquest units just should join according to their characterization, but don't, because, well, we have to make it choose an army and you only get one, right? It's so silly. I know I'm the first person to say this, but Fate's writing might be a little bit bad. No path can be satisfying. Rev is satisfying as long as you don't pay attention to the story. Same with Conquest. I think that the gameplay of both of those is really good. But like, onto Camus. I guess the other Camus that I think makes sense is also an FE4, as it turns out. Altena's like brother boyfriend type thing. Oh my god. Okay, Mercury, that was you. Fuck. Okay. So the NES emulator I'm using has this technical issue where if you fuck with the headphone wire, it like crashes. And my cat loves fucking with my headphone wires. So I'm gonna have to, I know, baby, I know. I'm gonna have to take her and lock her out of the office. Oh, and she's still, okay. Cause I just, oh my god, baby, stop it, 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 stop it. Ow, ow. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Ugh. I know, baby. I know. Hey. No. No. Out. And now she's gonna be scratching on the door, begging to come inside. Okay, hold on. It's a known issue with SNES 9X. Oh, fuck. She fucked with my audio settings entirely. What did you do, baby girl? What did you do, baby girl? Okay, I think we got it. Sound off. Yeah, like I said, my cat fucked with the headphones. I found out you can fast forward on the emulator yesterday. Yeah. Right, okay, so Altena's brother. Altena's brother boyfriend type situation. I think he's also, it makes sense for him not to join Leaf's army because he thinks that Leaf's army is like, represents the end of Thracia. I mean, it does kind of represent the end of South Thracian rule, right? So he's not incorrect about that. Let's equip the Iron Axe. What a catastrophe! Yuck, 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 yuck.
Degree times degree.
Yuck, 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 yuck. Thank you, Wings of Shoot, for the $2 donation. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Do.
Here we go.
Arion and Trevant are both really cool characters. Trevant definitely gets better in Thracia's characterization of him, but the seeds of it are even there in FE4. I see a lot of people say it's a complete rewrite, and I disagree. I think the seeds of it are there in FE4. They just, you know, needed a little bit of work. Degree times degree! Oh my god. What a silly little program. And I think we have Nisha go over here. How does Finn do here? I guess Finn can be right here and be fine. I still believe FE4 is told by an unreliable narrator. Why do you think that? Oi, oi, oi! What are you doing out there? The rest of you get out there and fight now. Don't let them touch the castle. Oh, reinforcement time. Looking over FE4's script remind me how oddly terse it is. It can remove quite a bit of nuance from everyone. Well, you know the reason for that, right? We were talking about this last stream, but Kaga's racism moments really bleed into the script. So, in an interview, Kaga said he based Verdane off of Persia, because he believes Persia to be a barbarian nation. And he said that he based, the noble houses of, the next chapter, chapter 2, off of the less civilized Spanish, which he means Muslims. So that is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Not gonna mince words. He's a racist motherfucker, and it bleeds through into parts of FE4's like story and theming. Now I think that you can enjoy a work of fiction that was made by a bad person, even if some of that bad person's badness has bled in, but I think you need to be able to acknowledge it and like look out for it, right? Which is where sort of I'm actually not sure how I'm gonna handle certain portions of the story, because there's a scene in Gen 2 where Seliph is like in the temple and finds out, like, it turns out the death cult, this evil religion that worships Satan, was actually persecuted by people who thought they worshiped Satan, and then it turns out those people were right about worshiping Satan. And that, I've seen some people, talk about, like, oh, you know, it's about the cycle of violence. It's about how, like, you know, they struck back and the cycle of violence will keep going forever. And I just don't think that's a valid reading, because I'm sorry, it's about how this religion actually worships devils and is evil and we need to kill them, by a man who based 2 of the evil nations on Muslims because he thinks they're less civilized than non-Muslims. I don't think you need to really read between the lines to make the connection as to what perhaps was intended by this. What evil religion is worshipping devils in Kaga's mind, right? Tearing Saga is something that I'm not interested in playing anymore. Yeah, Tearing Saga has its own issues. It sort of runs with the same theming as FE4, and for that reason it has, like, its own racism moment. Kaga has an obsession with blood, and how certain bloods just make you better than others. Which, again, like, when combined with the other stuff he said, already the blood stuff is a red flag, obviously. And, like, the idea of right here, you know, it's passing down the extra special bloodlines to people to make them better warriors in a crusade. You know, it's not that subtle, and the imagery is everywhere once you know what to look for, right? It's not great. It's not great. You know, I actually made an Ice Rider video about my thoughts on how, what I like about the story, and how there's the sort of, Sigurd is blindly pushing forward and you as the audience are kind of tricked into siding with him for a certain amount of time. And I still like that takeaway from me, from my consumption angle, right? But I've actually been thinking about it over the past couple of days, and I don't know if Kaga intended for the player to think Sigurd ever did anything wrong. You know, obviously I don't have an insight into Kaga's brain, so the whole, like, how you're along for the ride until you realize Sigurd was wrong thing, that's my interpretation. But it could very well be that Kaga thinks, like, yes, Sigurd, kill the barbarian nations. And then, oh, but then this evil schemer has corrupted your beautiful white army. Which, like, that's another Islamophobic fucking conspiracy theory, right? So it could be that that's what we're supposed to take away. And, like, if that's the intended takeaway, then that's bad. And that's the thing about, like, engaging with media that was written by a person whose politics and race views and stuff you find objectionable, is I think that you are able to sort of come to your own conclusions about stuff. And so what the conclusion I'm running with is that we're along for the ride, or the enjoyment I'm getting from the story is we're along for the ride, but Sigurd is, you know, conquering nations and subduing other sovereign people, and that's bad. And if Kaga intended something different, well, you know, death of the author, right? I personally, at the risk of getting political, I don't think conquering another nation is actually good. Elliot has fled? Very well. Leave him to lick his wounds. We're done here. Withdraw. Crests aren't based on racist stereotypes. I mean, so oh god, do we have to get into Three Houses discourse? I do think Three Houses has some similar issues to FE4. Not identical ones, obviously, it's trying to do like a caste system story, right? But yeah, as Faulty Video says, so there's two evil underground religions manipulating everything. One of which is quite literally lizard people. And the whole lizard people conspiracy does originate from anti-Semitic, like, stuff, right? So there is some ickiness to it. It also presents the character who wants to sort of get rid of this caste system and introduce a meritocracy or whatever, as not evil, but sort of well-intentioned, yet like ultimately misled. Like she teams up with the other evil religion because it's two evil underground manipulative religions fighting each other in this sort of proxy war. And she teams up with the other one, the one that wants to like destroy humanity in a different way. And I also just don't like the Three Houses writing. Like, why must you continue to reconquer? Why must you continue to kill in retaliation? Like that sort of shit, right? The other evil faction that actually ruined her life. Yeah. Like, I understand that Edelgard is a controversial character to talk about. And I do think that the whole, like, she's a fascist thing is very silly. But also, I don't think she's written super well. I don't think she's written super well, and in fact, I think that bad writing sort of takes away from a lot of what the game is, like, kind of trying to go for. In terms of its themes. And I don't think that should be a controversial thing to say, but it's Three Houses discourse, so it will be. I don't think any of the characters are written, any of the main characters are written particularly well, or at the very least, they're not written consistently. And, you know, you can say, like, oh, well, you know, obviously they're gonna act different based on what side Byleth takes and what other events there are, right? And there's some amount of that, right? Like, I think Dimitri having a total breakdown versus not total breakdown, dependent on when he figures out that Edelgard is the Flame Emperor, is believable. Although, I think Dimitri, like, magically recovering from his mental breakdown because Rodrigue dies is its own form of silliness. But at the very least, like, his difference, I believe, and some of the characters, like, siding with Byleth versus against Byleth, depending on stuff, I also believe. But then you get stuff like, you know, Edelgard, you get stuff like, I mean, Claude just gets completely written out of the story. Even within his own route, he radically changes. Like, he's investigating Rhea and figuring out her manipulations and stuff, and then they didn't really have a direction for him to go in part 2, so he just does what Dimitri does. He just becomes the Silver Snow route. The writing of Three Houses is so rough, but it's hashtag the best writing in the series according to its fans. I think that the reason people like the Three Houses writing is, a lot of the side characters are really well written. But that's also true of a lot of side characters in other Fire Emblems. Like, I mean, let's use the series as punching bags, right? Fates and Awakening. There's some side characters in Fates and Awakening that are quite well written as well. Verdant Willed is Silver Snow if it was good. My first playthrough of Three Houses was Silver Snow. I picked Edelgard because Hot Red Girl. And then... Oh shit, are we dead? And then when she was revealed to be the villain, so basically I picked Edelgard, I say Hot Girl, I picked Edelgard because I was like, Yeah, whoops, we died. I picked Edelgard because that was when I was first, like, transing. So I was like, I'll pick the girl one. But then I got so bored of the monastery in my first playthrough that I just missed the option to go Crimson Flower entirely. Because by the time I got to, like, chapter 8-ish, I was so fucking bored of the monastery. I was like, this is actually god-awful. That I just, like, quit, right? So I also didn't get a dancer in my first playthrough because I didn't know about the dancer festival because I quit the monastery. Bum, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da. So, because of that, I ended up going Silver Snow, and I was like, wow, that's really cool that Fire Emblem, like, takes your lord away halfway through. That's such a, like, really cool and creative decision. I didn't think modern Fire Emblem devs would be brave enough to give you a character who you then don't get to keep, right? Especially the lord, like, she's a selling point, and I was hooked. I was looking forward to playing through Blue Lions and Golden Deer in order to find out how do Dimitri and Claude leave as well. Like, what's the reason that they leave too? And so I thought it was the coolest shit ever, and then it turns out that it's just an alternate path, and it's retreading Golden Deer but without a lord. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of lame. Believe it or not, Fire Emblem The Last Promise does that premise better than Three Houses does, because you can't avoid the thing that takes away your lord, which I think is much cooler. And when your storytelling is worse than The Last Promise, I think you made a mistake somewhere along the line. I guess the Throuses devs couldn't handle the weight. You Devisian developers, how much weight can you handle? I feel like Silver Snow was written before Verdant Wind, which kind of makes both worse. Yeah, because, like, Claude spends most of White Clouds, like, stealthily investigating Rhea, and he's, like, not sharing his findings with Byleth, but it's very clear he's figuring out that, like, because the church did some manipulations and shit. Like I said, Three Houses would need another 2 years at least. I don't think time would have fixed it. I think the issues with Three Houses, I think the issues with Three Houses needed a different writing team. I don't trust the team that wrote Three Houses to write a good story in a longer amount of time. I think it just needed a new writing team. Or if not just a fully new team, like some new people, right? Because the thing is, there's like the library where they have like world development stuff and right? So I feel like they had plenty of time to like do stuff. It's just a matter of the skill issue. I was so fucking intrigued with what Claude was doing in White Clouds, but then it sort of went nowhere. I haven't played Three Hopes, or I have, but I didn't like it. And I like the Warriors playthrough. I like Fire Emblem Warriors, like OG Warriors, but I didn't like Three Hopes. But I've been told Three Hopes sort of fixes things. Is this true? At the very least, Claude doesn't get sidelined as badly as he does in Three Houses. Also, the recycling. I did some calcs, and Engage has more maps than Three Houses, and has like 60 chapters without including paralogs. So the recycled maps, if the maps played significantly differently, I wouldn't mind it. Because people talk about how the Fates trilogy also recycles maps, but it just recycles the maps. The enemy formations change so much that they really recontextualize it, right? So, like, for example, Birthright, Conquest, and Rev all send you into the Rainbow Sages Tower. But those maps play so differently from each other. In Conquest, you're facing all these unpromoted enemies, and sort of getting, like, each room has its own gimmick moments. In Birthright, you face, like, the funny stats. And then in Rev, it's a mixture of promoted and unpromoted units separated out right after you get a bunch of training projects that you want to train up, right? So each of the maps feels really different. And the same is true for, like, Conquest Chapter 10 versus Rev 14, where Conquest 10 is a really tight defense map where you're fighting against, like, specific skill formations and the water gets drained. And then Rev 14 is a really tight route map where you are fighting against mostly knights and paladins on the right and fighters on the left. And you want different people to handle different things, and you just got access to the effective weapons, which are the best way to handle generals and paladins, right? So a lot of the map, I mean, Conquest, the Conquest map where you clone yourself versus the Rev map where you clone yourself play very, very different from each other. One of them is just there to train up Gunter and Corrin. The other one, you want to try to get as many items as you can, because you can deploy a full team, but you have to, like, kill a bunch of people who are hard to reach to get items. The Birthright version of the Dragonfall Fort versus the Conquest version of the Dragonfall Fort, where in Birthright, you're facing hordes of Faceless that keep spawning every single turn, and you use the Dragon Veins to turn off the swamps. In Conquest, there's a very tight, specific number of enemies you fight, and they've got tricky formations, the Shining Bow guy, Justice for Haitaka. Yeah, Haitaka's in that map, too. I would say Arcanea and Altana castle maps also. Yeah, Arcanea is another one where FE1 and FE3 Book 2 use the same maps, but the context is so different that it really shows how the map's geometry itself is not the only thing that matters. And with that in mind, I'm going to plug a ROM hack that I think is a perfect example of this. An unexpected caller. An unexpected caller FEU. So I'm gonna push this in chat, the link. Every single map in this ROM hack is from Fire Emblem 6, 7, or 8, geographically. But the enemy layouts have been so drastically altered that they don't play anything like the map they're based off of. The objectives have also been changed. So, for example, Battle Before Dawn is now an escape map, where your army starts near where Zephiel begins, and you need to escape, like Thracia escape, out to where the FE7 army normally starts, right? As a person making an FE ROM hack, enemy placement is like 90% of map design. Yeah! Enemy placement and objective choice. I really liked an unexpected caller, and I think it is a really good example of how sort of the criticism of reused maps, it's eating at something that is real, because a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses maps do feel very similar because, it's the same geography and similar or identical enemy placement. I think also part of it is just the maps get reused so much as to feel excessive. Because there's a limit to the number of times you can do it before it just feels like too much. But like, you know, with the Fates trilogy, you play each of those maps 3 times at most, and usually it's only once or twice. Rev Fuga versus Conquest Fuga, 2 different versions of the same map, very, very different from each other. How did we get to this? How did we get to this? We were talking about fucking Kaga's racism, and I'm so fucking autistic. Just the natural flow of conversation across topics. Don't forget Birthright Fuga. It's a different map. Birthright Fuga's a different map. It's a desert map. We're talking about when the geography is identical. And the Birthright Fuga map, you do face Fuga in the story, but it's on a different map entirely. It's on a desert map. Whereas Conquest and Rev, you face him both in Wind Alley. The illusion of choice led us to Three Houses Discourse. The illusion of choice did lead us to Three Houses Discourse, but the reality of autism led us to talking about Fire Emblem ROM hacks, because that's all I know how to do. Rip Village. Ba-na-na-na-na. Alright, let's have Sigurd lure these guys with the javelin. I love how in Birthright, Fuga's involvement amounts to you killed our villagers, kill more villagers to prove your innocence. That's what it also is in Conquest though, right? And then he's like, hey, you passed my test. I was just testing you to see if you should be allowed to use the Yato. Even though you were chosen by fate. Milady, you're safe. Thank the gods. I'm so sorry I failed to protect you. Please forgive me. The important part was that you're safe as well, my dear. Please don't worry about it. You gave your all to protect me, and I couldn't thank you for that, even if you didn't succeed. For now, I'd like to remain with Sigurd so he could use your strength. Certainly, milady. He's done so much for me, for you, and for all of Yingvi. I'll do all I can to return his kindness. Hey, Mrs. Dane! I got something good to give you. Look, I picked up this odd cane. It won't do too much if I just hold on to it, will it? Oh, this is a warp staff. Where did you find it, Dew? Oh, I found it just over there. Yeah, that's right. Weird, isn't it? I bet you one of the gods left it over there. Just for you. Oh, Dew. Having a staff like this ought to be a great help for everyone. Thank you, I'll cherish it. Unfortunately, warp in this game is not as busted as it is in other games. It just sends you to a castle. Still, it's very nice to have, like, there's specific situations where you want to use warp. Warp shenanigans, milady? Your streams are excellent background noise for work. Thank you, Miss Mesmerim. I'm glad you like them. Milady, Binding Blade reference gets shot. But Duraludon is a steel type, so he should be resistant to Bullet Punch. So getting shot doesn't do anything. Checkmate, liberals. We're doing Lex Ira. So we'll go like this. I gotta start being conscious of the pairings that y'all voted for. So we're doing Edain and Midir and Lex Ira. There's no jealousy in this version. They fixed the jealousy bug. This javelin has 4 kills. Sigurd's javelin has 6 kills. Okay, I want to try to get 50 kills on a javelin ASAP, because I think a crit javelin is really good. It's an underrated strategy. I don't see a lot of people talk about it. Everyone talks about, like, crit brave sword and stuff, but you can start building crit on a javelin in Chapter 1. And... Because, like, look, Sigurd doubles the Brigands 1 rounds with the Javelin, right? So you start building it in Chapter 1, and then you can have a crit Javelin for a long-ass time. Jealousy was a bug entirely, or was it just badly implemented? It was a bug. They dug into the code, and they were able to confirm jealousy is a bug. There's an explanation. The link in the description of this stream to the Lil Nordion patch has an explanation of how they know jealousy's a bug, and it's too technical for me because I'm a stupid little baby, but basically they dug into the code and they know it for certain. Jealousy is a bug. It breaks if you ever reload a save. Yeah, so that's what convinced me. Even before like people dug into the code. But now that they've dug into the code and like pointed out like, no, we can identify exactly what causes it and it is not intentional behavior, it's even more like obvious jealousy is a bug. Your second Jav is probably a top 5 weapon to get crit on. Yeah, because also Quan can start getting crit on Jav in Chapter 1, but I think it's easier for Sigurd to get crit Javelin because he has Pursuit, right? Like, we just got 3 kills this chapter. Or this turn, not this chapter. I'll feed the Azel fans. Azel's staying single, isn't he? Since Azel's staying single, I think it actually makes more sense to feed Ira. We can feed Arden too. You forgot about Arden. I don't actually want to get the talk convo yet because I want Edane to use her actions to heal people. Who is Arden wiping up? Arden is staying single.
Ms.
But
Mesmerism
that means we get the
$7.66.
Chapter 5 event. We're doing Arden.
For crunching through
doing Jamka talk about how they're single. I think Arden also has a single event though. Do is not gonna be single, so Do and Jamka, we will not get that event. Unfortunately. And then we will go here. I believe... Okay, if I'm remembering correctly, the pairings are... The pairings that y'all voted for, Mediri Dane, Lex Ira, those are the 2 that we currently have. Claude Aaron, Lagisis Beowulf. We're doing Substitute instead of Sylvia's kids. We're doing substitutes instead of Sylvia's kids. What else? What else? Lewin Tailtew? What other women are there that I forgot? Oh yeah, Bridget Dew. We love substitutes. I'm probably going to make... So I think what I'm going to do is make a save state at the end of Chapter 5. So I can eventually do a substitutes run without having to worry about Gen 1. Because a sub run isn't any different in Gen 1. How much for Arden X Sylvia? If you have a meme pairing you want me to do... If you have a meme pairing you want me to do... how much for Arden X Sylvia? I'll say $100. If chat collectively donates $100 for Arden X Sylvia, I'll do it, because I'm a sellout. I had someone comment on the polls saying, like, how dare you ask for money for these pairings? And I'm like, I don't know, this is my fucking job, right? Like, if y'all don't want to pay for it, that's fine. But I don't want to do those pairings, right? If I want a meme pairing, can I overwrite one of the ones that was already voted on? If you pay for it, because I am a sellout. Speaking of money, there was a donation during the Aaron and Madeir talk. Was that for any of the pairings? Because if that's for a pairing, I will count it towards whatever pairing it's for. Sellout Emblem. How dare YouTubers want to make some money off of their jobs? Yo, Azel Gaming. 21 versus 0. He fucking won rounds here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm just joking around, you do you. Oh, I wasn't trying to attack you, Princess Q. I know there are some people who unironically get upset whenever there's like ads on stream or people are like, hey, pay money for this or whatever. And I always find that to be pretty silly, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I didn't think, yeah. Let's have Dude donate his money to Ethlin. I literally just got an ad on stream when you said that. That's the funny thing, is I clicked the ad button. I made that comedy happen on purpose. I was like, oh, it's gonna be really funny if an ad shows up when I'm talking about ads. So I'm gonna click the ad button. So YouTube automatically inserts ads when it thinks they're like optimal or whatever. But I can also press the add button to manually add ads. There's an add button, there's an ad button, and there's a delay ads button. So I can also delay YouTube's automatic ads if I want to. Enjoy Tristan and Jean. Tristan and Jean, that is the substitutes for Lachesis. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah, let's do it. Tristan and Jean, thank you, Commander Cheney. That is a very generous $100 donation for Tristan and Jean. Thick Molder lives within all of us. Thank you so much. For future reference, if you have a specific pairing you want, I would like, I'm going to accept this for 100, but for future reference, if anyone else has a specific pairing, I would like you to ask for a price first, because there's some where I'm just like, that's gotta be more expensive, if you get what I mean. Like, missing out on like Set or something is gonna be more expensive than missing out on Dermot. It sucks not getting the charisma from Nana and Dermot. But ultimately, Tristan and Jean, they're funny. They're funny. And Jean is in the Embad run, so she's like iconic for that reason. Also, thank thank you. Again, $100 is really, really generous. I know it's a lot of money, so I appreciate it. How good is Sed in this game? Not as good as people think. Not as good as people think. Jean also gets a Shannon event. Yeah, we get to show off some of the substitute events. Oh, right. I can heart your donation as well. You get a heart from me. Alright, we'll get this talk convo. Edane, are you okay? When I heard you'd been abducted, I was so worried. You came to fight for me as well, Ethlyn? Thank you. I'm sorry for your trouble. It's difficult to convey my thanks, but please accept this staff. I think you'll have more use for it than me. Is this a return staff? Oh, thank you, Edane. I'll put it to good use to help all of us. So the return staff is like Warp, but it's only your base castle. Anyone who we send there is like basically screwed for the rest of the map. Not as good as people think, but still good, right? So it's the same problem. Everything I said about Ira and Azel also applies to Sed, where being an infantry unit is just... I know I was talking about how, like, oh, oversimplification in Fire Emblem. People write off units for, like, one bad trait. And, like, there is a potential that I'm making the same mistake right now, but I don't think I am. I think that infantry is, like, that bad in Fire Emblem 4. There's opportunities for Sed to contribute. One of the big ones is, depending on his father, Sed usually has enough magic to silence Ishtar, which is a big deal. And a lot of the castles have enemies near the opening that Sed is very well matched up against. He was very useful in my Zero Growths playthrough. If you are familiar with, if you've seen that, Sed was a very big part of the Zero Growths playthrough, but even then, Arthur, I think, was more useful because he had a horse, right? FE4 horse moment. I do think that, like... Oh, come on. First my woman fleas and now this? Damn my rotten luck. I do think that Sed is one of the best infantry units in Gen 1, or in Gen 2, but, like, Shannon is probably better just because he's around longer. They both have that thing where they have, like, really, really good combat, but they're footlocked. Alright, let's Silver Sword you. I enjoy saving Ishtar. Do you mean silencing? We get his gold. I think we have you heal up Arden. You forgot about Arden. The funnier option is Berserk into sleep. We will get the Berserk staff. We will get the Berserk staff because we have Corporal. Unless someone pays for a meme pairing, we will get the Berserk staff. Oh, not Corporal. We have Charlo. I think I put Arden here to block off this. Because I don't want to kill this guy. I want him to be alive. Moved Nisha back. Because I want Dude to steal his lunch money, right? Move Quan back. What does this guy drop? The skill ring. Is Onslaught? That's AS. So Midir's skill doesn't matter. The only units whose skill matters are Ira and I guess technically Do. And then Lex for the accuracy, because Axe's moment. Maybe we get this kill with Lex just to improve his accuracy. We do not. Yeah, that's why he needs the accuracy improvement. Mend up Lex. Did you know the pronunciation of Lachesis' 3 knights in chapter 2? I do not. Do you? Well, actually, if you do know it, I can't tell. I can't tell because you'll be typing it. I can't hear you. Oh, God. Cringe. Princess Ira of Isaac, I presume? I heard your story from Sigurd. I'm Quan of the Onster. A pleasure. I hate to press you for information so soon, but there's something I'd like to know. Why did Isaac attack Donna in the first place? Surely you knew that doing so would invoke the wrath of Granvale. That King Manan would commit such a reckless act, the very idea defies belief. You knew my father, Sir Quan. I'm afraid I never had the chance to meet him. However, my father knows him well. He's always had only the utmost praise for him. He also speaks fondly of your brother, Prince Macular. He's always said he's a fine young man. Is that so? It hardens me to hear that. Without a doubt, my father and Macular were admirable men. Never would they condone such an assault on the defenseless city. In the matter of Daha, the Patriarch of Rubat acted alone without our consent. I beg your pardon? Why haven't the Granvalians heard this? Surely if Prince Kurth knew the truth, he would refuse to continue the war. So too thought my father. Once he executed the Rubat Patriarch, he departed for the Granville front, head in tow, to negotiate with them. But, yes, my father, the king, he was assassinated on the way. Once word of this returned to Isaac, the people were utterly incensed. Macular sent out, leading our army, seeking vengeance against Granville. Something is amiss here. The murder of a king who seeks peace talk certainly isn't like Prince Kurth either. Have you told Sigurd of this as well? No. Lord Sigurd carries enough of a burden as it is. It's too late for my brother. Prince Macular was resigned to death when he engaged Granville, wasn't he? My brother believed to the last that Isaac's hope for the future rests in Shannon, his son. My role is to protect Shannon, and with him, the promise of Isaac's liberty. I see. Thank you for telling me, Princess Ira. Someday the world will know the truth. Until that day comes, you mustn't give in. I will do all that I can to help you. Thank you, Sir Quan. Isn't Isaac based on the Mongols? I don't know. I don't know what Isaac is based on. It could be, but I genuinely don't know. The fact that it's a desert people and there's other sort of like Islamophobic stuff in the story makes me a little bit like raise my eyebrows, but I genuinely don't know what, if anything, it was based off of. Look at that, 1 HP soul, baby! Simply dodge tank! Do is so epic. 5,000 gold. Isaac is not a desert people. Oh, right! The desert is, the desert's chapter 7, isn't it? But that's not technically Isaac, because Shannon is there, but he's investigating the Lopter, right? Lopter's the desert people. Once again, Lopter being desert people, and the whole, like, interview comments about Islamic peoples. It's not painting a good picture for you, Kaga. It's not painting a good picture for you. Where's the Wyvern Desert? That's Thracia. The Yeed Desert doesn't really belong to any nation. It's the border between Granville and Isaac. And then the Lopter people just happen to have like a hideout there or something, right? Because that's where we find the temple that like has the whole "this was written by children" scene. Is Kaga evil? I think that Kaga holds some racist beliefs. I always hesitate to label real life people as like good or evil because people are more complicated than that, right? But I do think it would be accurate to call Kaga a racist. Or at the very least, at the time that he wrote this, he was racist. I try to stay away from saying like good person, bad person, just because I think people are pretty complicated, right? Let's see if we can get this kill with Ira. The skill ring is good on her because Astra. People also change all the time. They could be better or worse at a different point in their life. That's also true. Like, FE4 was a long time ago. Now, I don't have any reason to believe that Kaga changed. And in fact, what I know about him and his, like, AI bro stuff also makes me not like him as a person. And, like, the blackface stuff in Tearing Saga, like, I don't love it, you know? to put a fine point on it, I think that's bad. Kaga's an AI, bro. So Kaga has said that he is too old to make art himself, and he doesn't want to pay artists, so he wants to use AI for the art in his future products. That was also a few years ago, so I don't know if things have changed since then. But again, like, I think there's this, I think that people who believe that everyone has the capacity to grow and change, which I would count myself amongst them, oftentimes will be a bit too generous in assuming just because people have the capacity to grow and change means that everyone does. I saw this with, like, when the Me Too movement happened, right? And a lot of men got canceled for sexual harassment, sexual assault, those sorts of things. Then a few years later, everyone was like, well, it's been years, so they've probably changed. Louis C.K. was a big example of this, where, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, Louis C.K. did bad stuff, but he had time, so he probably grew and changed. And it's like, well, no. Part of believing that people can grow and change is you give them the chance to, but you don't just assume. You don't just assume that because there's been time and no evidence of change, they must have changed for the better, right? It would be just as silly to assume someone did a good thing a while ago, but let's assume that they changed for the worse now, because that happens sometimes too, right? Growth is not all linear in one direction. But yeah, I think that while it's very possible Kaga has changed and, like, doesn't hold these things in his heart anymore, and I would love if that were the case, because I do like a lot of his game design decisions, even if some of them are fucking batshit insane. It's like the good type of batshit insane, right? Until seeing, you know, evidence of the growth and change, going to assume it, right? We can only judge people based off of what we know about them. But again, people are complicated. And so I think just reducing, you know, evil good, that's what Fire Emblem does. Fire Emblem reduces people to evil and good. We can do better than that. We don't want to be Fire Emblem. This is such a cringe series. No, please let go of me.
What's the matter? Come on, I'm just asking for a little date.
I need to go home, sir. I ask if you please pay me no mind.
Shut up! Keep your yapping and you'll see what happens.
What's going on here? Let the girl go.
What's your problem? This one's... Ugh. You're not that Granville paladin, are you?
You understand the situation? Then be on your way. There are none I loathe more than your kind. The girl has given you her answer. Now leave her be and get out of my sight.
Yeah, I got it. My bad, Missy. I was just teasing is all. Sorry, I'll be off now.
Are you alright? Yes, thank you, Sir Sigurd.
Do you know of me?
Yes, I met a woman named Edane not long ago in this castle, and she spoke of me. She did. I knew from the moment I laid eyes on you. You are in every way the man I had imagined. May I ask for your name? I'm sorry, but I must go. Wait, please. I just want to talk for a little longer. I'm truly sorry. I'm glad we could meet even once. What? What do you mean? Please! Ah! I hate your kind more than anything else. Not dodging the racism allegations. I think he means creepy men. I don't think we need to read further into that. That guy was being creepy to a woman. I also hate the kind of man who's creepy to a woman. I think he means creepy men. Lord Sigurd, is it? What's the matter? Oh, you must be the town elder. That woman who just ran off now. Do you know who she is? Of course. That woman is called Deirdre. She's the priestess of the Spirit Forest. Deirdre? She's beautiful. Oh, even a fine man like you can't resist being charmed by her ilk. Could it be love at first sight? Ho! Sir, please don't tease me. And yet, I've never seen anyone so beautiful before. I need to see her again. Alas, sir, it cannot be so. The folk of the Spirit Forest staunchly refuse to partake in the world beyond their woods. Furthermore, that girl and members of her clan are forbidden from ever liaising with men. Village lore dictates that should that ever happen, calamity would befall the world. You have no choice, so resign yourself to that girl. What superstitious nonsense. That poor girl. Deirdre, we must live again. We must meet again. And so that's Sigurd's biggest mistake right there. There's a conversation between him and Deirdre that I would love to see how the translation handles it, because I want to see it tackled in a modern retelling of FE4. I think it's so cool, where he talks about how, like, if this love is a crime, so be it. I'm willing to let the world burn for your sake, right? And what basically it is he knows about the prophecy that if anyone has sex with Deirdre, it'll be the end of the world, and he's okay with that. He's like, hey, my love is more important than the possibility of this bad stuff. It's his biggest issue, and the reason why, as the Ice Rider video that I released a little bit ago says, Sigurd's actually the villain. He's actually Heisenberg. Father, this is absurd. Why do you still refuse to listen to me? My brother has already fallen, and it's only a matter of time before they come for the capital as well. The Granville commander, Sir Sigurd, is a good man. Please end the war while you still can. I allowed Minir's raid just because I'd been told that Granville would surely come to invade me first. Never did I intend for a war like this. It was that sorcerer Sandima who told you that, wasn't it? You, Simbaith, and Munir trusted him too readily. You've all been deceived. Now, Prince Jamka, that's enough of that. Your duty as a prince is to lead your men into the fray. Dawdling in a place like this would be deeply troublesome of you. Ugh, damn you, Sandima. That's enough, Jamka. Listen to Sandima. Go, lead your men into the fray. Father. Very well. If you won't change your mind even now, then I'll see you through this as well. But be warned, should I return victorious, Sandima, I will allow you to live no longer. Jomka's a fucking idiot, by the way, because, why didn't you just kill Sandima now, if you know he's evil? Are you stupid? You could have saved your dad! Sandima, perhaps for all this time, you may not have been entirely forthright with me. You did assure me that Granville hungers to claim our land, and yet... Fire Emblem! Heroes! And what are you saying now? To think that I believed the Uverdenites would be of use? You truly are not but savages. You are worthless, completely and utterly worthless, and from now on your army is mine to command. What? No, stay back! Fire Emblem! Heroes! Feeble-minded old fool.
So, you've put an end to the king, Sandima. Do you expect the Verdunite army will still obey your command?
Oh, Archbishop Manfroy. How long have you been there, your eminence? The army is of no concern at all. They need only know that the king has fallen ill.
I see. And what of the situation here? Does the plan progress?
My sincerest apologies, your excellency. That Granvillian, Sigurd or something, has proven to be an unexpected obstacle in the invasion.
And what of the search for the Opterian Scion? Have you found Sigin's daughter?
No, not yet.
Imbecile! After all the pains I have gone to locate the boy. The son of Sigyn is still in Valhalla, but he is worthless without the female. Listen well, Sigyn was an heir to Prince Meira, brother of the Emperor of the old Opterian Empire. Sigyn Olun in this era has inherited the sacred blood of the Dark Lord. That woman broke the commandment that Meira placed upon his heirs and bore 2 children. Do you know what that means?
Yes, your eminence. When the blood of the 2 heirs intersects, the second coming of the Dark Lord Loptis will be upon us.
Precisely. And so too shall we, the descendants of the Opterian Empire, return to this world. You know as well as I, Sandima, how heavily our fates depend upon the resurrection of the Dark Lord. You know well our order's centuries of exile hidden deep within the Aid Desert. You know well the abuses, the famines, how we were sustained only by dreaming of the day when the Empire will rise again. And at long last that day is upon us.
Understood, your eminence. If I must surrender my life to ensure that the plan is realized, I will do it gladly. The Fire Emblem Fandom Wiki erases Hicks's backstory. Yet another example of proving the Fire Emblem Fandom Wiki prove themselves the inferior wiki. Is this about Hicksenberg? Is this about my vandalism? For anyone who wasn't here during the previous stream, let me read out my vandalism. You're home early.
Dentist.
Oh right, Krentis the dentist. I can't find it. Hold on. Hicks. In announcements. Give me 1 second. I think my wife wants to talk about something. Alright, it looks like we are once again delaying the ending of Chapter 1. I gotta go pick up my wife's car. I thought we had another 30 minutes to handle this, but she has a dentist appointment. So, we did just conquer this castle and save. So it is at least a, you know, a good stopping point and whatnot. But yeah, I might finish this, when we get back. It'll depend. yeah, I'll probably finish this when we get back. It'll be like a 30-minute stream. So I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.